Anyway, next, I think I'm at Arnold's Way, and actually I have my arm around you, don't I?
Yeah. That's okay.
I have my arm around everybody.
That's okay.
That's okay. Anyway, I'm next to Sartre, and he just gave a lecture on ovarian cancer, right? Somewhat.
Well,
why don't you talk? Why don't you talk the book, whatever you want to say, and I'll just keep my mouth shut as much as I can.
That's fine, Arnold. It's great to be here at Arnold's Way, and I am an author of a book that came out in 2012. It's called Cancer Healing Odyssey, My Wife's Remarkable Journey with Love, Medicine, and Natural Therapies. My wife had ovarian cancer stage 4 in 2007, and she used an integrative approach to recover, which included surgery, chemotherapy, but equally importantly, Gerson therapy and some macrobiotic diet. So with the Gerson therapy, she used a blend of cooked and raw foods and lots of juicing and detox elements. And that,
what's a detox element?
With the Gerson therapy, it's particularly coffee enemas.
Wow.
Yeah. And we evolved it and created an understanding of what we call the integrative healing paradigm, and I'm going to show you a diagram of that right here. And this chart summarizes, in the red area is the medical program, in the green area is the nutrition program, in the ochre-colored orange area is the detoxification program, and in the blue area is the mind and spirit program. So this is a combination of 3 holistic elements and 1 medical element. And what we found in our journey is that the holistic elements are critical, and those are 3 things that the patient can control and the patient is responsible for. And if they are combined with the minimal amount of medical program that's necessary, we think there would be much better results overall for patients if this general concept was embraced not only by the patients but by the medical community as well.
What 3 things are you talking about?
The 3 things is the blue area, which is the mind and spirit program, keeping positive, focusing on a positive result, improving your relationships with people and with the environment, and in general getting your head in the right place. And the nutrition program has to do...
How would a person do that, by the way?
How would they do that?
Yeah, out of curiosity.
Well,
I mean, it's easier said than done, right?
It is.
You're told you're given cancer, and from what I've seen, your body takes over. Your mind takes over, oh my gosh, I'm going to die.
Well, there's a lot of fear involved initially,
yeah.
And it's a process of having a certain amount of faith that if I go in this direction, which has proven to be beneficial with other people, that I can also succeed. There's a wonderful story about somebody who read a book and somebody had recovered from cancer. They said, oh, if he can do it, I can too. You have to have that I can too attitude,
right,
in order to get started. If you don't have that attitude, you're never going to start the journey. So I think having that initial positive desire to change your life, to change your nutrition, to change your habits, to change your way of life, it's really critical. And often the mental change precedes the dietary change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have the mental, you know, the dietary doesn't mean anything if the mental's not there.
So the mental decision making,
wow.
and that was true with my uncle who recovered in the 1950s. He made a mental change. My wife made a mental change that she was going to get heavily into
her thing was I can too.
I can too.
Was that her thing?
No, yeah. She was saying that, but that was actually originally a story I heard from a woman named Elaine Nussbaum, who had terrible uterine cancer spread all over her body, and she read a book called Recalled by Life, and she read that book about a doctor who recovered, and she said, if he can do it, I can too. And so I think that's the kind of attitude that a cancer patient needs. And when they don't have that attitude, they're going to be in trouble.
They are going to be in trouble.
Relying only on the red area, which is the medical program, while it may work in some instances to get people cancer-free, often the cancer comes back. So that they've removed the cancer or they've killed the cancer with chemo and radiation, but they've damaged the immune system and they're not building the patient back up. And so this holistic triangle, which I call the Trinity of natural healing, is critical to bring in these holistic parts. And it's really the missing piece of the puzzle. And in my view, the holistic parts are a perfect marriage with the medical part. And by doing the holistic part, the amount of medical part that you need is less. In some cases, the holistic part by itself may be enough.
That's my opinion.
I know. I absolutely understand.
Absolutely. In fact, you met a young girl today.
But even arguing
I'm not
that if somebody gets
You're right.
No, but if somebody gets diagnosed,
right.
the doctors are valuable for the diagnosis. They're valuable for the testing. They're valuable for the monitoring. And in some instances, if it's too far gone, the surgery and other things may be useful. So in my wife's case, there was some evidence that the surgery and even the chemotherapy, as much as I didn't like it,
but you made
it had some benefit.
You made an interesting point about your wife, that once she was finished with all her tests, her chemotherapy, or surgery, she never wanted to go back to medical.
Yes, once she got her blood test down to normal level, she didn't want to go back and test.
So she was afraid.
The testing was,
or she just didn't trust it
the
again.
test, well, she was afraid that if it went out of the normal range a little bit, she'd get scared, she'd run back to the doctor, he'd scare the heck out of her, and she'd be back on chemo.
Right.
So she's taken the attitude that as long as she's healthy and living a normal life, you know, why get too alarmed about it? I personally like data.
You like data.
I like to collect data.
Right.
So I was hoping she would do testing, but
right.
but I've had to respect her wishes, and she chose not to do further testing. But it's almost been 6 years.
Wow.
This September will be
so
six years.
So
and she had a very serious stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Right.
And she had a tumor here in the abdomen. She had what's called a malignant pleural effusion, and those are very serious symptoms. And she's, I think, one of the few people in medical history who has had the kind of recovery that she's had. So it's been quite a journey, and the book is doing well, and people are finding it. And
why did you write the book? Why were you inspired to write a book?
Well, I just felt that the message of the holistic message is not reaching the general population. Maybe 30% of the population is getting the message, but 70% are still not getting the holistic part. And I thought that her recovery was unique and interesting because she used both. And so it wasn't rejecting medical world, but it was embracing both. And I think that's a very important and useful message for the majority of people. I think some people who are more courageous, if you will, might go more in the holistic and less in the medical. But those, I think, are individual decisions that a family has to make in consultation with their holistic counselor, in consultation with their doctors. So that's not something that you can say it's the same for everybody. In fact, it's different for everybody to find the right balance and the right mix. But I've been very impressed, Arnold, with the kind of work you do with the raw vegan diet and the kind of recoveries that you've had. It's always great to be here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Anyway, let's make the voice louder so our microphone can hear it.
Yeah.
I myself rarely go to doctor. I never go to doctor. I kind of honor my life for what it is, which means if I'm sick, I honor that. If I have a tumor, I honor that. For one time I had pneumonia, maybe 8 years ago, I didn't think I would live or die. I honored every moment, and I said I can too.
Well, I don't personally need to use doctors very much. Over the last 30 years, I've embraced a macrobiotic, vegetarian type diet.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I've been healthy for 30 years, and I haven't had need for doctors. But I don't think that I do respect what they're capable of. They're very good for emergency medicine, for diagnosis, and for treatment in some cases. But as I like to point out with this diagram, which I call the integrative healing paradigm, even if the doctor gave you the best medical treatment that you could get, he still can't eat for you,
right,
detox for you,
right,
or think for you.
Right.
So this holistic triangle is critically important.
Anyway, that's it now. We treated your wife had ovarian cancer, successfully got treated with this approach.
Yes. And
she's never gone back, and you're writing a book about it called Cancer Healing Odyssey, and you gave a lecture, and you're saying goodbye because it's hot in here.
Thank you very much.
I'm sweating. Bye, live from Arnold's Way.
Thank you very much.
Okay.